Hi, I'm Mad Matt with Kewlmetal, and I'd like to show you how I wired up my Kewlmetal driving lights to my Victory Cross Country. Now I've got 4 of the Kewlmetal large bullet driving lights mounted on this bike. Obviously you can just go with 2. And we provide the brackets. These are Kewlmetal mounting brackets, and they mount 1 light a piece. So if you buy 1 pair of the mounting brackets and 1 pair of the lights, you can mount your lights on either the top or the bottom hole, your choice. And these mount up to the 10mm threaded holes that are already on your Victory Cross Country crash bars on the inside here. It's the same holes that we use to mount our highway bracket, the Kewlmetal highway bracket, and I've got the Kewlmetal mini floorboards mounted up on that highway bracket. So what I did to wire my driving lights is I installed a sub panel on my bike. This is a little panel you can buy at the auto parts store. It's got 6 slots for the little blade fuses in there, and 6 tabs coming off, and a main energizer bus. And it's just like a little sub panel on your house. And this sub panel is energized by a 30 amp relay. And this 30 amp relay is going to live inside the frame in this little hole right here underneath the seat. Okay, so that 30 amp relay, the large wire, the 14 gauge wire that goes to the battery, goes to the main bus side of the little terminal block, which you can see where I mounted that on the bike underneath the right side cover. And this relay is actuated by the Victory's built-in auxiliary circuit, which I'm going to show you.
Now up on the left side of your wiring harness underneath the tank, there's a little plug that comes out of your main wiring harness that is for your fog light circuit, and this circuit is turned on with the key, and then also it's on when your low beam switch is on, but it turns off with your high beam so that your fog lights turn off when you go to high beam. That's how I initially wired this up, not realizing that there was a fog light circuit and not just an auxiliary power circuit. So I'm actually going to move that to be energized by a key on hot circuit that I still need to find coming off of the key, because I want to just have control of my fog lights with the toggle switch up on the fairing that I mounted, and I want my sub panel to be energized all the time. But if you want your driving lights to turn off with high beam, you could use this pre-built fog light circuit for that.
Now the heavy gauge wire that goes to this 30 amp relay runs up here with the main wiring harness down your front shroud and up underneath this plastic cover right here. And what I did was put a 30 amp inline fuse, and that's going to live underneath this plastic cover where your starter solenoid and battery wires are. And then it goes right under here to your battery positive terminal, where your battery is up here in front of your oil cooler. Okay, now to run the actual driving lights, what I did is I installed this little rocker switch that I got from Victory. It's got the little graphic of the driving lights on it, which is kind of nice. You can just get a rocker switch from your auto parts store. They do fit into this slot. So you go ahead and connect your wires to your rocker switch. Feed it through the hole. You don't have to take off your fairing. You can just feed the wires around the front of the tree, down the side of the frame. Now that rocker switch is used to activate a second relay for my driving light circuit. So that second relay gets its power from the sub panel. There'll be a 25 amp fuse in here to run that circuit, which will run the 4 50-watt light bulbs. And off of that power I teed off, and that runs up to your little rocker switch, and that comes back and goes to the actuation side of this relay. The other side of the actuation side's got to be grounded, so it has a little ground wire that goes here and picks up this screw in the side of the frame right here. And then the heavy wire on the output side of the relay goes forward to your driving lights, and I haven't routed those yet, but they're going to go along right here along the frame, along the main wiring harness, and then down the front shroud, underneath the crash bars, and out to my driving lights. So that's how I wired it up. Now, if you don't want to put in that little sub panel, the reason for the sub panel is there's 6 circuits there that are all turned on by the key. I'm only using one of them right now, but then when I put a handlebar mounted GPS or anything else that I want to, any other accessories I want to put on this bike, they can each get their own circuit and their own fuse from that little sub panel, which is a really nice way to do it. Now that entire sub panel is turned on and off with the key as well. So if you don't want to put the sub panel, the other way you could do your driving lights is to just come off of your battery with this inline fuse right here, and then put your little relay down in here, and then actuate that relay with your rocker switch again, and then go right out here to your driving lights. Now that'll be on all the time, so you do have the potential to forget and leave them turned on up here when you turn your bike off. So in that scenario, you're not key actuated. You could be key actuated though if you wanted to take your auxiliary circuit here, wire this to your rocker switch, and then use that to turn on your solenoid your relay that you're gonna locate down here, and that way it would come on and off with the key. You'd have to turn on the key and the rocker switch to turn on your driving light. So that's another way to do it right there. A little simpler than doing the sub panel. But once again, if you do plan on putting any further electronics on your bike, it's going to be nice to have the sub panel. And then when I put a GPS or whatever, just run a wire under the tank, boom to the sub panel, and I'm done, and then it's switched. If that's the way you want it. You can also, wire up your sub panel straight to the battery so it's not switched if you want to do it that way, and you wouldn't even need to use this relay if you wanted it, if that's the way you wanted to do it. So let's take a look at what that looks like from the front. And you can see with the just with the 2 driving lights turned on, you're going to get some attention from the front view. With the 4, people are going to see those 5 lights coming at them, and that's a real attention getter, which is a real nice safety feature of these. While I'm doing this, I'm just going to show you putting together one of our Kewlmetal driving lights. I want to show you how slick these lights are. Again, they're based on an MR16 bulb. There's some gaskets that go in there. Now these all come pre-assembled from Kewlmetal, so you don't have to do this, but if you do have to change the bulb or whatnot, these are, what I want to show you about these lights is that they're concealed. There's no screws. You put the 2 halves together like that, okay, and you compress them, and you take this nylon string, okay, there's a groove in here. There's a corresponding groove on the inside of that bezel. Okay, put these 2 halves together, compress the gasket, and then you feed this nylon string up into that slot, and that's it. It locks your bezel on. Now you can also rotate your bezel orientation if you want that up or sideways, depending on where your mounting post goes. Okay, so you take your hollow mounting post, and this actually traps the end of the nylon string and grabs it right there, and there you have it. No set screws, totally clean billet like design. These are one of a kind on the marketplace from Kewlmetal.